Namaste, Jai Bharat. RIC, Russia, India, China Cooperation. Russia has taken initiative, and this was thoughts with the Russians for a long time, and actually it's a welcome thought. Bharat has no problem with Russia at all, and we have time-tested friendship. Bharat has also no problem with the people of China. Let's be very clear. Bharat never had a problem with the people of China because the people of China are a part of our culture. So long as they are not that kind of communists who are bookish. But they are not that kind of communists who are or bookish, because their communism is not communism anymore. Maybe that there were 100 flowers blooming stories were in the beginning, but then with time, China simply shifted to capitalism. China makes compromises between two apparently contradictory phenomena. One is the communist desideratum, which is from dictatorship of proletariats, which is socialism, to communism, where statelessness and classlessness and all such things, dreams of Marx is possible in theory. Now, it's wonderful to think when Marx is writing in his 1844 economic and philosophical manuscripts. It's wonderful to think that he says there's a law of inner reason in every human. There's a law of inner reason. That's his postulate. This postulate is not right. There's a different story. He believed in the manuscripts of 1844. He makes this postulate that there's a law of inner reason with every human, and there is also objective laws in every society. Now he looks for a situation where the inner law of reason is just one with the objective law, so social, political, state, whatever. And once this is achieved, that the inner law of reason is one with the objective law, then there will be no contradiction between inner law of reason and the objective penal laws, whatever laws. And once there is no contradiction, this is possible. They need not have law enforcing agencies in state itself. That is what what Marx would dream of. I will always say dream of a state withering away, class withering away, and there's no ruler and the ruled, and all kinds of wonderful lotus eating thinking. So that is the highest desideratum or highest synthesis in Marxian dialectics, where dialectics actually ends with the point in revolution, and beyond revolution it is criticism and self-criticism as per Marxian theory. But his highest desideratum is this kind of a total imaginary freedom, of course, where he has not understood the real nature of human being, and that's a problem that we'll always say. So this is the desideratum of Marx, which is supposed to be the principles of communism consistently. But that one thing China adopted, where half of the idea of socialism, that is dictatorship of proletariats. That's not communism, that's only socialism. From socialism one has to go beyond socialism to get into communism. Communism is where the classlessness, statelessness, everything is quite possible. So in socialism it's a dictatorship of one class, that is dictatorship of proletariats, from which China has practically adopted dictatorship. And the dictatorship in China is not a dictatorship of proletariats, it is a dictatorship of the Communist Party. That's fine. Beyond this, I need not to say things you understand. So dictatorship is on one place. Then the entire economic principles, China has gone to capitalist, real capitalistic mode of production, borrowing the expression of Marx. Capitalistic mode of production. Actually, as a revolution is where that you transcend the capitalistic mode of production into socialistic mode of production. But China is very successfully practicing capitalistic mode of production. This combination is deadly, because capitalistic mode of production uh, can be very strengthened. It's something much stronger than reinforced with the dictatorship character. So it doesn't take much time for the nation with this combination of dictatorship of whatever communist party it is there, dictatorship and capitalistic mode of production. When they are together, the nation will economically flourish like hell, because basic communism is focusing on economics principles, but their method of economic structure is communist or socialistic. But that real economic what do you call vivacity and strength comes from capitalism. So China has put these things together, and the rule is rule. That's a dictatorship, and no one can speak. There is no strike. There is no problem. There is absolutely solid law and order, no disobedience, and any capitalist can put his money there, make his factory work, or make his business work, and make his profit, and share the profit. What legitimately belongs to society should go to them, and what legitimately belongs to the workers, laborers, should go to them. Nothing more, nothing less. There is no serious welfare. There is no serious welfare questions. Whatever is given, it has to be taken. So there won't be any strikes asking for more. Something like bonus and this thing and that thing won't exist. So the nation and the society will progress. Precisely this is what happened in China. But otherwise, the people are the same people. The very ancient people. The very ancient people who are basically, fundamentally, they were all Hindus once upon a time, of various types. Hinduism is a variety of systems coexisting. So they basically all are Hindus, but then later got into Buddhism, became Buddhist. And what is Buddhism? It's also a branch of Hindu dharmas. We understand on a broader perspective, because we in Bharat had already accepted Bhagavan Buddha. We call him as Bhagavan Buddha and Bhagavan Mahavira. Jainism, Mahavira is Jainism. We already accept them as one of us, one of our deities. We have plenty of deities. In case of Sri Buddha, we have accepted him as one of the avatars of Lord Mahavishnu, like Ramji and Bhagavan Shri Krishna, etc. So Bhagavan Buddha. So if you worship Sri Ram or Shri Krishna or Shankar Bhagavan or Vinayaka, it's all the same. For a Hindu, it's all the same. Similarly, when someone worship only Buddha, it's all the same for us. We also go and worship with him. We have no contradiction in our existence. That, of course, is, I used to say always, the epistemology of coexistence of the multiple and plural. So people of China, we have no problem. We never had any problem with people of China. And many of us, Sumit Jain's wife is Chinese. Many of us married to them and comfortably living, wonderful family like people, essentially good people. They are civilized. They have a civilization which is something like parallel to Bharatiya Sanskriti, influencing one another obviously. The Kung Fu, which is very seriously taken in China, is a contribution from the southern part of Bharat. Bodhivarman is the one, a Buddhist monk who went to China and created the Kung Fu schools. In a way, is it? The Kung Fu school, the place, you know it, where it is. Doesn't come to my mind now. The Shaolin, yes, the Shaolin schools of Kung Fu. Kung Fu is from a Tamilian, Bodhivarman, like many things like that. So the relations between people to people is tens and tens and tens of thousands of years old, and nothing new. And we had been coexisting, living. So with China we have no problem. It's only the communist tendency and some of the party leaders who are very ambitious about widening their border and aping US. That's what the word I should say. Why should China ape US? US is a world police, all right. Let them think that the world police. Why should you bother? Don't encroach into their territory. You stand your own feet. Of course, China is already standing on their feet. They are very self-reliant kind of people. But the Russia, India, China, the RIC cooperation, if it has to be true, it has to be for Atmanirbharta. It has to be for one's own strength, not to become world police or the superpower of the world. These things don't mean anything in the long run. Superpower or not superpower of the world, and military might, of course, we need, because that is necessary for existence. The military might is automatic with these three nations, Russia, China, and Bharat. They are powerful, economically also strong, military wise also strong. The people also have coherence. They know how to coexist. Lesser internal inherent contradictions as compared to other places. So this togetherness should be togetherness positivity, in the sense that it's for our betterment first, and therefore to help other Asian nations from getting exploited by the European world. The European world will never accept us as one of them. They had never accepted, they will not accept. They have all kinds of complexes within them. Whatever kinds of complexes you can analyze, they have such complexes. So the problem is with them fundamentally, and we should stand formidably together without being aggressive to others. We are not. Bharat is essentially not aggressive to others, and Russia is also not aggressive to others. China demonstrates something which, if Russia can contain, will be fine. Stop playing with the borders. They have not gained anything, and they also stop behaving like the US, putting money everywhere and trying to get maximum from people around, and accepting, therefore forgetting yourself domination accepted. At least at your bottom you spend a lot of money on them and become a fool. China also is becoming a fool by putting money on others. US is also doing it. They put their neck and hands. They put their hands and nose everywhere and got themselves burned in every single cases. They should have looked after themselves, looking after the people of the states, and developing themselves further. Such should be the concern. If the RIC has to be successful, I suppose if Russia can take the lead, things can work out, and not to impose upon others, but for remaining solid and formidable for our own meaningful existence towards progress, development and progress, and more comfortable living for the people. The concern should be for the people. And the communist principle which China ought to follow, ought to have been following, is that they should work towards the welfare of the people more than enriching Harley Davidson's motorcycles. We shall meet again with some other thought. Namaste. Jai Bharat. Jai Siya Ram.